So stage 23, in thermis 1, in the BAVS 1. So in this chapter, we saw comparative and superlative adverbs. So for regular adverbs, the comparative form ends in IUS, just like the comparative adjectives that are neuter, singular, nominative, or accusative. So IUS, no ending, of course, adverbs don't take endings. And then the superlative adverbs for regular verbs, adverbs, would have that ISS, IM, or less often IRR, or ILL, ending. But instead of a first and second declension ending, just that E form, right? And you may recall that frequently first and second declension adjective, first and second declension adjectives can become adverbs by changing the ending to an E. So that's all that happened here with the superlative adverb, right? That first and second declension ending becomes just letter E, right? E and no ending after, because adverbs, again, don't take endings. And then also we saw a list of irregulars. We also saw those for their regularity when they were adjectives as well, right? So same ones, similar forms, right? But you want to get those down. And also it reviewed the participles that we've seen. So the present active and then the two perfects, the perfect active and perfect passive. So I've highlighted the participles in this. I think I got all of them. And of course, I underlined the verbs in red, right? So thermis in the BAVs. So recall after the interlude of, or before the interlude of the last chapter of the Wilbia Modesta story, that a murder is afoot. So let's see what happens. So the first paragraph, Proptermos era templum, Fabris Romani sedificatum, Rex cagadimnis cum multis principibus servisque pro templo sedebat, quintus propecellum regis stabat, regem principesque manus armatorum custodiebat, pro templo era ingens, quam omnes aspiciebat, memor togam praetextum gerent, prope aram stabat. Right? First verb is erat, which of course is what tense? Imperfect, right? The exception to the BA rule. So prepositional phrase near the baths was a temple. Edificatum, perfect passive participle, right? Most perfect participles are going to be perfect passive. So edificatum, built, and then the ablative of agent, which is also a clue that it's a perfect passive participle, built by Roman craftsmen. Okay. So the next verb is sedebat, was sitting, right? What's the nominative? Well, Rex Cogidimnus, King Cogidimnus was sitting. That's my subject and verb. So what else do we have? A couple of prepositional phrases, one really long. So with many chieftains, que, and puts and in front of that, right? So many chieftains and slaves. So with many chieftains and slaves, pro templo, in front of the temple. Right, cum and pro, both sid-space prepositions. So templo, servis, principibus, multis are all ablative, right? Objects of sid-space prepositions. Right, as was Fabris Romanis, of course, right? Object of a sid-space. Short for AB, right? If Fabris began with a vowel, it would be AB. So Quintus stabat, that's our next subject and verb. Quintus was standing, and then just a prepositional phrase in between, near the chair regis of the king. Regis, right? The genitive of rex, rex regis, right? Third declension, genitive singular. Regem precipesque manus armatorum custodiebat. Okay. All right, so was guarding. Okay, so what's the subject? It's going to be a nominal singular. If there is one, no, manus. Manus works. Manus is fourth declension. Right, so fourth declension. So remember, it can mean hand. It can also mean band. I don't know why. Maybe like your hand is a band of fingers. I don't know. It means hand or band. Hey, that rhymes in English, so that helps us maybe. So manus here, probably a band armatorum of armed men. Was guarding, and these were accusatives, the king and the chieftains. Okay, that's going to make the murder hard. Pro templo, in front of the temple was our ingens, a huge altar, right? Remember the altars are out in front of the temples, right? Not inside. right, out in front with the people, because the people are going to be attending the sacrifice, right? The sacrifice is for the people, all the people in the city, right? So they're going to be part of this spectacle of the sacrifice. That's part of religion, Greco-Roman religion. So the sacrifices is a public event. So if the sacrifices, the altar is out in the open, out in front of the temple, right? So a huge altar, ingens are quam omnes aspiciebant. So relative clause modifying the altar apparently. Quam was accused because it's the direct object of aspiciebant. So which everyone was looking at, right? Imperfect. Memor, gerunds, what kind of participle? Present active, right? Engine NS. If it wasn't nominative singular, it would be NT plus a third declension ending. So memor gerunds, wearing toga praetextam. My praetextal toga, right? It's a toga with a purple border. Prope aram stabat. So he was standing prope aram near the altar. Duo sacerdotes, okay, two priests. Ducentes, present active participle, modifying the two priests, right? NT plus a 30 declension ending, nominative plural. So leading agnam nigram, a black lamb. So two priests leading a black lamb. Ad aram lente percesserent. So percesserent, they went forward, perfect tense. Double S's is a clue in the stem, plus the errant, of course, is a peculiarly perfect tense ending. So proceeded, went forward to the altar, lente, slowly. Okay. Postquam rex signum dedit. So after the king signum dedit gave a sign, unes sacerdos agnam sacrificavit. One priest, sacrificed the lamb. Oh, that's a bad day for the lamb. Probably had no idea what was happening up to that point. Thought it was a big party. So sacrifice the lamb. Then memor, right? Relative clause describing memor. Memor who now was trembling, que, and sudabat was sweating. So he's probably a delightful sight. So who now was trembling and sweating. Okay, altri sacerdoti, right? Sacerdos is third declension, so sacerdoti is dative. Alteri is also dative, right? There's a group of adjectives that will follow the pronoun rules for the genitive and the dative, right? And this is one of them. There's an acronym, unus nauta, and I have a handout on this that you'll get eventually if you haven't already. It's definitely one of the NLE materials I give you. So this is dative. So to the other priest, he said, okay. So Eubia, I order the accusative te to do the infinitive. I order you to inspect. Okay, look at this quickly. You think it's everything, but no, it's not omnia, it's omina. It's the I in the end. So omens. So I order you to inspect the omens. Deek mihi. Remember, deek is an irregular imperative, and that's lacking that vowel. So it's not DK, was what you would expect. Also, the similarly spelled Duke, right? Duco, I lead. The imperative would be Duke. Also lacks that vowel in the singular, right? So Deek is a singular imperative, just missing that vowel at the end. So tell me, tell to me, tell me. We would say in English, right? Quid vides? What do you see? Right? Vides present tense, second person singular. The S tells me that, of course. The priest, after he inspected or looked closely at the yekor agnai, it's a liver, right? The liver of the lamb. Anxious, and we'll take it as an adverb since it's modifying the subject. Anxiously, he said the, again, liver, right? Because how else would you tell the future except for looking at the liver of some animal? If you have a better idea, you can let them know. So the liver is lividum, lead colored. So apparently your liver is not supposed to be lead colored. I wouldn't know. So the liver is lead colored, he said. None, surely. Remember, that's expecting a yes answer. Hulk significat. So hulk is a general neuter term here. This signifies death. Surely it signifies mortem the death, genitive weary clary, of a famous clary weary man. Remember weir is second declension. Okay. Memor, okay, the main clause here is memor sacerdote responded, memor responded, and then sacerdote, remember, is dative, third declension dative singular. He responded to the priest. Okay, then we have a relative clause here describing memor. Memor, who, terrified, was growing pale. So he doesn't look suspicious at all, right? Trembling, sweating, now he's growing pale. I responded to the priest, no, Dei Sulis, the goddess Sulis, quae preces agritorum auderia solet, who, right, relative clause here describing the goddess Sulis, right, which is feminine singular, so quae is appropriate, not qui, but quae, of course, who is accustomed to hear the prayers of the sick people. All right, so that's a relative clause describing her. What does she do? So the goddess Sulis, nobis omnia optima miset. So miset, she sent. That's a perfect omitted. The S is a stem clue. She sent nobis, dative, to us. Right, you send the accusative to the dative. She sent to us the best omens. Right, optima, a superlative adjective. Right, optime with a long e ending would be a superlative adverb. Right, didn't have any of those in this passage apparently. So locutus, of course, is what kind of participle? Perfect active from a deponent verb, as we'll see later. It has a direct object here, haec verba, neuter plural, right, plural A. That's a clue, right? It has a direct object as a clue that's perfect active. So locutus, having spoken. That's one you should know anyhow, right? We see that all the time, right? You got to memorize at least some of these, the most common ones. So having spoken these words, okay, what's our verbs? Wortet exclamavit. So he wortet say, he turned say himself. Remember, that's reflexive. Ad cogitudinum, to cogitudinus, and he shouted, Omnia sunt optima. The omens are the best, or excellent. Omnia tibi remedium mirabile significant. The omens signify, right, the accusative to the dative, a remarkable cure for you. A remarkable cure. Because the goddess Zulus Minerva tibi favit, right? The goddess Zulus Minerva favors you, right? Remember, favio takes a dative, so object of a special verb there. Tum regem ac principes memoriam apodutarium duxit. So then, all right, the verb is led, right? Need a subject. Okay, that's accusative and it's linked with an and to principes, so that's probably accusative, even if without the linkage, it's still not a candidate for the subject because it's plural. I need a singular subject. Memor, that's our singular nominative, right? So that's a subject, right? So don't just look at the beginning of a clause or a subject, as now the sentence patterns get a little more complex. You might not find it at the very beginning. Here it's in the middle, and I think we saw not long ago an example where it came after the verb, right? So gotta know, you gotta be able to identify the verb, the cases of these nouns, right? Because the word order is not going to be dependable, right? So then memor led. He led the accusatives. That's these guys over here, right? We already identified regem as accusative, and this must be two, linked to it with and. So then then memor led the king and the chieftains in apodutarium. So into the apodutarium, in Greek, the taking off room, right? Taking off your clothes. Right, so they're going to go have a bath after he got his good news. So they're all going to bathe with a deathly ill guy. It's a great idea. Oh, but he's going to get a remarkable cure, so maybe everyone that catches whatever he has will be cured as well. Right? Stands to reason. Oh, well, sorry you had to see that. Don't look. That's just jam that the lamb spilled on its neck. It's nothing sick there. All right, so that's in Termis 1, in the Vaz 1. Right, until next time.